Welcome back to the Bokeh Academy with me, JP, and we're looking at Topaz Photo AI. This version is 2.4, and today we're talking about the upscaling of generated images with generative AI. And there are a number of free ones on the market available. If you've not played around with it, you just need to spend a minute or two and you will find like it's a big dark black hole. You don't come back from it that easily. You get stuck in the image generation process. Even if you may have objections to the whole AI thing, I will tell you this is really fun. So I'm using Bing, the new Copilot designer. It was Bing Image Generator. The names keep changing so quickly lately. And the limitation of most of the image generators out there is that the output resolution is restricted usually to something like 1024 by 1024 pixels. And maybe you want something much bigger. Especially like me who do a lot of web design, I want something around 2000 pixels minimum on the wide side. For that, these images need to be upscaled. Many of these generative AI do have upscaling algorithms. That's usually behind the pro wall, premium paid. But we have Topaz Photo AI. Can it upscale? Can it do a good job? And I think the answer is yes, yes. Of course it can upscale. Does it do a good job? Yes. But how good a job and which model should you use? Now, just for interest's sake, let's generate quickly an image here on Copilot. I'm going to do something funky. Man and a woman dancing on the beach in a punk wave era in the style of steampunk. And we say, let's make it very colorful with bright flashes, whatever that may be. And I enter, and then this is Copilot Designer. I still call it Bing Image Generator. And if you have Adobe, you have access to Adobe Firefly. I often use Leonardo AI. And then Google, I think, has paused theirs, I believe. And then the other one that I use is FreePic, but there are so many to choose from. Nice little steampunk thing we've got going here. Let's choose one of these images. I'll go for this one over here. And then all I'm going to do is select download, and it's a very quick download. If we look in the folder, you will see that it goes at 1024 by 1024. It's a JPEG file at 225 kilobytes. Into Topaz Photo AI we go, and I'll drag that image in. And the analysis will go pretty quick. This is a JPEG, and let's see what it's done here. It has added in the sidebar under the enhancements, recover faces and upscale. The trick will be when you're working with these images to immediately remove anything that isn't upscale. Just go ahead. You don't want that. Sometimes it's going to throw in denoise. Sometimes it's going to throw in sharpen. And if you don't look at that, it's going to really affect your photo. Maybe for creativity, you may want to keep it in. But I found that if you are doing proper upscaling for images generated by AI, you don't want that. Select the upscale, and we are going to immediately go maximo on this one. So there is a ×4 here, but our max is over here, and that is ×6. So if you have gigapixel AI, you will know that the deep learning for the upscaling within Topaz Photo AI is a factor of 600%, which is the scale of 6 times. Let's preview this. I'm going to use my... Which one is this? Alt-3, that's the shortcut. And this will give us the side-by-side or the split view. And I'll zoom in. To zoom in at 100%, you hit Control-1, Command-1 on your keyboard. And I'll drag it to where we can have nice lines and see the faces as well. Right, we can see it's highly pixelated here on the left. That is our 1024 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. And then here on the right, we see very nice clean lines. It looks good. I think for what we have in terms of an image at this size, this is a really good job. I really have to say really many times. Now let's see if we do get good results though. If we look here at the hand and the lines, this is as good as it's going to get. Looking at the lace texture here, wow, that's pretty good. It's a little soft, but it's upscaling after all. So you have to understand your lines are not that tack sharp as you would maybe expect if it was a vector drawing. And that brings us to the next question. If you go to the Upscale over here and you look at the AI model, you will notice that there are four AI models and 2 legacy models. So you have the standard, high fidelity graphics, low resolution, and then standard and high fidelity version 1. The crushing news I want to say is we can talk about this for a long time. I've set literally a few days now going through photos, low resolution images, and graphics. And 99% of the time, standard version 2 comes out at top. So don't be misled by these others and thinking that, well, maybe I should have a high fidelity image, and high fidelity means a lot of information and it's a good image, and then high fidelity will do a better job. It won't necessarily do that. You will find that the standard does a splendid job on that. But here we have this one, graphics. If you want to know more about these models, you have to hover over here where it says AI model. Now let's look at the standard. It says standard for medium quality images from older cameras and smartphones. High fidelity is for high quality images from modern cameras and smartphones. Really, for me, I found that standard did a better job than high fidelity in most of those cases. Or I can even say I couldn't really tell the difference between the two. But we are not talking about photos at this moment. We are talking about graphics. So let's look at the graphics for art and computer generated images. Pop it onto graphics and see if the image has a noticeable difference. This is a really difficult one. I can tell you that between graphics and standard, you're going to be hard-pressed to make a decision. I put it back on standard. Look at the detail. It almost looks like leaves, a pattern of leaves. You can see more texture on this part of his jacket. And when you put it on graphics, you will see that it becomes more pronounced, but smoother at the same time. And I just don't know sometimes which one is better. That is my problem, because I like the, you can say, more detailed of the standard model here. And on the graphics, I do like the fact that this has a stronger color representation because we have less of that detail. This is a difficult one. Let's just have a look at high fidelity so you can also see what high fidelity is going to do. Again, does this mean that high fidelity is better than standard? I almost think these two, high fidelity and standard, very similar. Yeah, I'm hard pressed to call out immediately the differences between standard and high fidelity. Low resolution, we can try that as well. And you see something completely different. It gives us a little bit more information here because we put it on low resolution. The AI assumes there should be more pixels and variants of those pixels in there. So we get a little bit more going on here. But here is the important part. If I go and I fit this image like so, and this is what people are going to see, it doesn't matter how big it is. Remember, people often think bigger is better. If you put this image on the side of a building, only people who stand face to face with it next to the building will see the differences in these textures. But the problem with that is that they're not going to see the whole picture. If you stand a decent distance away, you're not going to see the differences. So I put it on low, on standard, high fidelity. And I think the takeaway here is that it doesn't matter really which of these models you are using, even low resolution. Do you think that low resolution has a nice bright light there? Even low resolution is going to do a great job at upscaling your graphics. You can go ahead and choose the graphics, but the other models work perfectly as well. Let's bring in another few images that I've generated, and these guys I've all generated within the Copilot Designer or Bing Image Creator. This one is a very intricate one, and we take a look at the lines. It has upscale here. I'm going to put it on max and then hit Control-1, Command-1 to get full. And have a look here at these people, these shapes, which are people in the windows, before and after. And this is really impressive. Now let's have a look at the AI model. Let's drop it first on graphics. And here you see a softening, almost a simplification of these fine lines. As with graphics, I guess the AI is trying to find lines and drawings, not so much all that small little details. If I put it on standard, I will say in this case, I'm probably going to go with standard instead of graphics. High fidelity, also a little bit softer, and let's test low resolution. For me, my favorite comes out the standard version 2. Control 0 to fit it, Command 0, and no difference. Of course, we're going to upscale it. I cannot see changes in the color, which is often a problem with upscaling, but this is a very good render. Next one is a logo, and this logo is black on white. And a very important thing here is that you will notice under the enhancements, a sharpen has been added. Trust me, remove these. I'm not even going to show you why you should remove it. It's not going to do a good job. Select upscale, we go for max immediately, and it is set to high fidelity. This one, the AI has decided that by looking at this drawing, this is a high fidelity one, so I'm using this model. Let's go see if that was a good decision. Control 1, Command 1, and look at those lines. Just look at that, from those pixels to these lines. Professional job by the high fidelity team. Let's have a quick look then at standard. Standard also good. And then graphics, because we know this is a graphic. And if you look closely, you're going to find that with the graphic, there is a smoothing to the line. Put it back on high fidelity, and you'll see it just looks a little bit sharper. So I do like the high fidelity and the standard for this. This is all about pixel peeping. I want to say that again. These models show you how it will look a little bit different here and there for these AI generated images. But I would say that you don't have to worry too much about which is the proper model to use. Go through it and don't get hung up on it. Sometimes I would say, like in this case, I do think the high fidelity does a good job, but I cannot say it does a better job than the standard for this logo that has been created here. Let's have a look here, like at this line. What we can do really to stretch it is let's zoom in, and I'm just using the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in. And let's look at this little line here with that small bump that goes in there. That's the standard on high fidelity. I don't think it's sharper. On graphics, you're definitely going to see the blurriness along the lines. Lower resolution, even more. High fidelity or standard, it is the one for this. Control 0 to make it fit. Then remember, once you've done all that upscaling, you do need to render the image out. So export it by clicking on Save. And then you can choose from the formats your JPEG, PNG, TIFF, or DNG. And that's all you need to do. And you export it. Let's go back into my folder. And I grab this one. And look how clean that image is. And I can zoom in. An amazing job that Topaz Photo AI did on this one. From me, JP, I'll see you again in the next video.